Good morning. I hope you are enjoying your weekend. And if you are thinking of giving back in any way, we're going to make it real easy for you. We're going to inspire you today to help an inner city high schooler. With me today, Amanda D'Avria, who is Director of Volunteers for iMentor, and Zuin Tran, who is the Volunteer Manager for the Corporate Partnership Program in iMentor. So, Amanda, what is iMentor in a phrase?
Sure. So iMentor is a New York City-based not-for-profit that matches, as you say, inner-city high school students with college-educated professional adults in one-to-one mentoring relationships. And the goal is that if a student has access to a college-educated professional, they're more likely to finish high school, matriculate into college, and then ultimately finish college.
How old is the organization?
We are actually about to celebrate our 15-year anniversary.
Wow.
So this coming school year will be 15 years. We started in 1999 with 49 matches. And this school year that's just ending, we have almost 3,000 matches in New York City.
What is the corporate component?
Yeah, so I work in our corporate partnership side of the house. And essentially, a few years ago, we did a 100 mentor pledge with former Mayor Bloomberg. And 10 different companies across New York City essentially pledged for 100 mentors from each organization. And so I continue that work with new partnerships as well. So our biggest corporate partner is Morgan Stanley. We have over 130 mentors from there. And all of our partners range from Google, Accenture, blossoming relationships with different organizations. So really reaching out to different corporate partners to engage their employees, really give them the opportunity to give back and show that, civic engagement is important. Corporate philanthropy is important.
Is this just for New York City high schoolers or tri-state high schoolers?
Just New York City currently. So we have 18 schools this year, 7 in the Bronx, 7 in Brooklyn, and 4 in Manhattan.
How are the students picked, and how do you do the matching and get the volunteers and the commitment level that you're looking for? I know that's a lot of questions all at once.
No, it's great. So you asked, how do we pick the students? We're actually a whole school model. And what that means is that we don't pick and choose students. We essentially partner with a high school. So a New York City high school might approach us and say, hey, we're looking to improve college outcomes for our students. We hear that you're a college success-based organization. Can you come into our school and work with our students? And the first year in the program, we will match an entire grade, usually the freshman year, of an incoming high school class. So that's 100 to 150 kids. Every single kid in the grade gets a mentor. So
then that means you have to have enough mentors.
That's right, yes. So we are growing rapidly, as you can imagine, because then what happens is when that freshman class grows up into the sophomore class, their mentors stay with them, and that new freshman class coming in then also gets matched with mentors. And there's a lot of benefits to the whole school model, one of which we find is that it really increases student buy-in into the program, because if you're an opt-in program, only the students who are going to opt in then have mentors. And so either you have kids who are already the kids who volunteer for everything who get mentors, or the school is picking and choosing, sort of cherry picking students. But when every kid in a grade has a mentor, it's just normal to have a mentor, and your best friend has a mentor, and your girlfriend has a mentor. And it's the whole culture of the school grows up around this idea that I have a mentor and my mentor is going to help me get into college.
But you would think that almost all schools would want to do something like this. It's like a no-brainer. I mean, schools where, you're not focused on a college education. There are some schools that aren't. I mean, I have to tell you, one of the reasons why I pulled my younger kids out of a certain school system, which shall go unnamed, was that at my son's graduation, the whole thrust of the congratulatory talks was, you did it. You completed high school. You achieved your goal. And I'm going, whoa. There, the bar is set awfully low here, and this is not the bar that I want set for my kid. But that's what I'm saying, it would seem to me that every school would want to do something like this.
No, it's true. And I mean, we one of the reasons that we've been so successful in New York City is that New York City high schools are graded and essentially are they get a score of their success, and part of that is based on how their kids do in college prep. So are you offering AP classes? Are your students matriculating into college, et cetera, et cetera? And so many high schools then say, all right, we need somebody to come in and help us get better at this. And iMentor is one of several services around the city that would come into a school and see if we're a good fit. We also have to be a good fit for the school. So one of the things that's unique about our program is that we actually go into the school and we teach the students once a week. So instead of having English class once a week, they'll have iMentor class, and an iMentor program coordinator teaches that class. That's the point at which the students write their weekly email to their mentors, and where they get sort of some of the iMentor curriculum and some of the college success support from our program. And some schools, just based on how they're designed or how their how their classes are programmed, can't allow for that. So the school needs to be a good fit for us just as much as we need to be a good fit for the school. But we are a very in-demand program, and we are growing.
And what sort of demands do you place on the mentors? What can they expect when they volunteer?
Yeah, absolutely. So the requirement that we're asking for mentors to commit to is a weekly email. So pretty easy. You can email from your commute. You can email from home in your pajamas, on your lunch break. So a weekly email and a monthly in-person event. So those weekly emails are actually fairly structured. Like Amanda mentioned, there's a class once a week. So you can expect your email the same time once a week. So if you know your mentee has class at Tuesdays at 10 a.m., you can expect your email at Tuesday at 11 a.m. when the class is over. So you set a reminder on your phone, your calendar, in your personal notebook for Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday morning, just to make sure that you hold yourself accountable to getting that email back come Tuesday morning.
What would be in that email?
Yeah, so there's a weekly writing prompt. So iMentor, we've been around for 15 years. There's a curriculum in place. So, if people are listening and saying, well, I haven't been a teenager for a while, or I don't have teenagers in the house, what are we going to talk about? I'm not sure. Essentially, we provide these writing prompts that help you start the conversation. So at the very beginning, it'll be something very simple, questions about yourself, like tell your mentee about your favorite place in New York City, or tell your mentee what you wanted to be when you grew up, right? Just asking sort of very simple questions to sort of break the ice, get the relationship going. And then from there, those conversations will transition into things like, what are you most excited about in the future, right? Some of our students, know that they want to go to college or know that they want a particular career, but don't necessarily know what it takes to get there. Some of our students say, I want to be a lawyer, right? And that's exciting, that's great. But some of our students don't know that you have to get an undergraduate degree and a graduate degree to become a lawyer. So it's those conversations that mentors can really support their students in and say, hey, that's a great idea. How can I help you get there? So those are what those emails are working on. And then those emails build into that monthly in-person event. So those take place Monday through Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. So very manageable after work hours. And then they're scheduled anywhere from 6 weeks in advance to the entire year in advance. So this past year, our mentors who are all matched in the fall, they got their schedule for the entire school year. So you knew when you were meeting in January, February, March, April throughout the year. So you can hold that time, hopefully, so that you don't have a business dinner that evening, a cocktail, whatever it might look like.
But you are committing to 4 years because you're talking about being matched with the freshman and then taking that mentor relationship all the way up through being a high school senior.
Yes.
So that's a commitment.
Yes.
No kidding. Yes. So we actually have two slightly different programs. We have the 4-year program, like you mentioned, which starts in freshman year and takes that student all the way through senior year. I have a mentee. She just finished her freshman year. So I will be with her until she graduates. We also have a 3-year program, which starts in the junior year and takes the student through the first year of college. So that would be junior year, senior year of high school, and then the first year of college. And we know that it's a bigger commitment than sort of your average volunteer opportunity. But what we hear often from our mentors, and this is very heartening to us, is that many people come to us because they say, I've been looking for something more meaningful. I've walked a dog, I've planted a tree, I've done like the one-off volunteerism. I'm really looking for a way to give back to my city in a broader scope. And so many of our mentors like us for that exact reason, that they get to commit to one student and see that student grow and mature and be successful over the course of time.
What happens if circumstances prevent that? You're transferred or you're suddenly out of a job.
Yeah.
what do you do then?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we understand that 3 or 4 years is a serious commitment. There's no way of getting around it. And I know that more than anybody, I think, when I'm working with corporate partnerships, talking to people. So what we talk about is essentially that, if you think, yep, I can write a weekly email, I can meet them once a month in person, and I know that I'll be in New York for a good amount of time. I feel like this is something I'm excited about. And then 6 months down the line, your job changes or you move away, you take your sabbatical, you have a baby, whatever it looks like, we've dealt with it maybe a few hundred times before. And so essentially what we do is make sure that both the mentor and the mentee understand why the relationship is ending if you can't hold the commitment to what you originally planned. So, if you realize that you're going to be working 120 hours a week, whatever it looks like, or you're moving back to California, that you won't be able to keep up the commitment. So we're making sure that the mentee understands, Eric had a great match with you. He really enjoyed working with you. You've made a lot of great progress together. Unfortunately, he won't be able to meet you in person anymore because he'll be in California, or he has a work commitment moving away, whatever it looks like. And so that the student and the mentor understand why the match is closing. So it's not that Eric doesn't want to be matched with you because he doesn't like your sense of humor, or you came late to an event one time, or whatever it might look like. And it's the same thing on the mentee side. So sometimes we have mentees who transfer schools, or mentees who unfortunately drop out. And so it's just really making sure that there's healthy closure for both sides of the house when that happens.
How do you vet the mentor volunteers?
Good question. So obviously we're working with teenagers, we're working with relatively young kids. My mentee was 14 when I met her. So safety on both sides of the house is very important. So there's an application process. You can apply to be a mentor on our website, which is imentor.org. And then we capture a lot of information about you on the application. So a lot of people look at our application, they're like, why are you asking me where I grew up? Why are you asking me what I studied in college? It's because we actually take all your answers on your application and we match them with a similar application that the mentees will fill out at the start of the school year. And then we're looking for commonalities. We're looking for similarities. So Zuin's example of a student who wants to be a lawyer will then look for a mentor who has legal experience or maybe is a lawyer and could be a good match for that student. So that's thing one, is to finish the application. Once you finish the application, you'll enter what we call our mentor screening process. So you come to a mentor orientation where you'll learn more about our program, and we'll go really in depth as to what it looks like on the ground to be a mentor. We also run background checks on our mentors for, I think, obvious reasons. Whenever you're working with young children, especially in the New York City Department of Education, you have to hold yourself to particular safety standards. We also check at least 2 personal references for each mentor. And we do a 30-minute phone interview with each mentor just to make sure that everybody we're bringing into the program both understands the commitment, which, as you say, is really important, and also is the right mindset for the program. Like, we can confidently match you with a young person and feel like, okay, this young person is going to get the most possible out of this relationship.
What are your needs right now? What sort of mentors are you looking for?
Sure. So the only baseline requirements for our program is that you be at least 21 years old and that you hold some kind of college degree. That can be an associate's degree or a bachelor's degree. We recommend that you either live or work within the 5 boroughs of New York City, because as Zuin mentioned, all of our schools are in the New York City school system, and so you'll need to get to a New York City public school to meet with your mentee. More specifically than that, though, one of the challenges we face this year is finding enough male mentors for our male mentees. So we do same gender matching. So our girls in the program are matched with professional women, and our boys in the program are matched with professional men. And while we seem to have no trouble or very little trouble finding enough women to join the program, every year we find it hard to find the right amount of men for our program. So specifically talking out there to the men who might be interested, as of right now, we still need about 900 men to meet our need for this coming school year. So if you're interested, certainly ladies out there, we are absolutely interested in taking your application. There's certainly space left for female volunteers. We have a particular need right now for male volunteers.
How do people volunteer?
Excellent. So it's easy. The first step is to go to our website, www.imentor.org. And there's a big blue button right in the middle of the screen that says Become a Mentor. You click there and you can start our application process. And from there, we'll take you through the screening process that I outlined before.
Are there any, now you already said that you're looking specifically for men in any type of field in particular?
Not really. Actually, it's funny you bring that up. Something we hear a lot from our male volunteers is that, oh, well, I want to mentor a young person, but I don't know if I'm the right fit, or I don't know if I'm far enough along in my career to be a good role model. And so what we often respond to that with is, if you are, if you hold your degree and you are, you have gone through that educational process, you are already a great mentor for these young people. And again, thinking about our students, most of whom are going to be 14, just the fact that you are a college-educated adult in their life will give them access to so many resources that they may not otherwise have. Over 70% of the students in our program will be the first in their immediate family to go to college. So just the fact that you have that experience makes you a great mentor. And you can be in business, you can be in law, you can be in public service, whatever your career path is. Just the fact that you are there and you are showing up and you are sharing your experience with a young person already makes you ready to be a mentor.
So you can volunteer at imentor.org. And I want to thank Amanda Diavria, who is the Director of Volunteers, and Zuen Tran, the Volunteer Manager for Corporate Partnership. And this is really something well worth getting involved in. Not a commitment that is out of bounds by any means. So I hope you can help out. Again, that's imentor.org. And I'll be back in a minute with more Q1043.